My name is Emily, and I'm 26 years old. I just got married to the love of my life, Michael, who is 28. Michael and I dated for 4 years before we decided to tie the knot. During those years, I noticed something about Michael that made him stand out from any man I had ever known. He was incredibly sweet, but very reserved. He wasn't the kind of man to get overly touchy or flirty, and we never got very intimate while dating. It wasn't like I didn't want to. I just thought he wanted to wait until marriage, and I respected that. At first, it was a little frustrating. I often wondered what he was thinking and if he truly found me attractive. But Michael was so kind and thoughtful in every other way. He would always make time for me, surprise me with little gifts, and listen to every word I said. So I decided to trust him and focus on the love we shared. When our wedding day finally arrived, it felt like a dream. The church was packed with friends and family. I couldn't stop smiling. The vows we shared brought tears to everyone's eyes, and as we walked out hand in hand as husband and wife, I felt like the luckiest woman in the world. After the reception, it was just the two of us in our cozy little home. I was nervous but also excited for what came next. We were starting our life together as a married couple, and I couldn't wait to see how it would unfold. That night, we were both so tired from all the dancing and celebrating. Michael offered to take a shower first, and I followed after him. When I came out of the bathroom, he was already lying in bed, wearing his favorite old t-shirt and pajama pants. I joined him, and we started talking about all the fun moments from the day. Michael laughed so much that it made me smile even more. But deep down, I was waiting for him to make a move. I kept thinking, this is our wedding night. Surely something is going to happen. After a while, I decided to take the first step. I leaned over and kissed him. At first, Michael froze like he wasn't sure what to do. I pulled back and asked gently, "Are you okay?" He nodded quickly and said, "Yeah, of course. I'm fine, Emily. I'm just tired." I didn't want to push him, so I let it go. We cuddled for a while before he fell asleep. But as I lay there, staring at the ceiling, I couldn't help but wonder. Was this just because he was nervous? Or was there something else going on? The next few weeks of our marriage were wonderful in many ways. Michael was still the same caring, thoughtful person I had fallen in love with. But one thing didn't change. He rarely made the first move when it came to intimacy. I didn't want to make him feel bad or pressured, but I also didn't want to keep feeling like this part of our marriage was missing. So one day, I decided to try something new. While Michael was at work, I sent him a playful text. "Thinking about you, handsome. Can't wait for you to come home tonight." He responded with a sweet but simple reply, "I can't wait to see you too." It wasn't exactly the reaction I had hoped for, but I told myself it was a start. Later that week, I took it up a notch. I sent him a picture of me in a cute outfit, one I knew he liked. I wrote, "Guess what I'm wearing just for you?" Michael replied with a single heart emoji. That was it. No words, no follow-up. I stared at my phone, feeling confused and a little sad. Why doesn't he say more? Does he even like the pictures? When Michael got home that evening, he acted like everything was normal. He gave me a kiss on the forehead, sat down for dinner, and talked about his day. I didn't bring up the texts or the picture. I didn't know how to, but I wasn't ready to give up just yet. I loved Michael, and I believed we could figure this out together. One evening, I couldn't hold it in any longer. We were sitting on the couch after dinner, Michael scrolling through his phone while I stared at the TV without really watching. "Michael," I said softly, breaking the silence. He looked up immediately, his brown eyes full of curiosity. "What's up, Emily?" I hesitated for a moment, trying to find the right words. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course," he said, putting his phone down. "What's on your mind?" I took a deep breath. "Do you ever feel unsure about us or about me? Do I make you happy?" His face changed instantly, his eyebrows furrowing with concern. "Emily, where is this coming from? Of course you make me happy. You're everything to me." I smiled weakly but pressed on. "I believe you, Michael. It's just, sometimes I feel like you hold back, like you're afraid of being close to me, and I don't know why." Michael looked away for a moment, rubbing the back of his neck. Then he sighed deeply and turned back to me. "Emily, it's not you, it's me. I guess I've always been shy about certain things. Even when I want to, I just don't know how to show it." I reached for his hand, squeezing it gently. You don't have to be perfect, Michael. I just want us to be honest with each other. If there's something you're nervous about, we can work through it together. He nodded, his shoulders relaxing a little. Thanks, Emily. That means a lot. I promise I'll try to open up more. I could see that he meant it, and for now that was enough. The next day, I decided to give Michael some space to process our conversation. But to my surprise, he texted me during his lunch break. Hey, Emily. Just wanted to say I love you. Can't wait to see you tonight. I couldn't help but smile. It was such a small thing, but it felt like progress. That evening, Michael came home with a bouquet of my favorite flowers, sunflowers. He handed them to me with a bashful smile. Thought you might like these. They're beautiful, I said, giving him a big hug. Thank you, Michael. We spent the evening talking and laughing, and for the first time in weeks, I felt like we were truly connecting. Later that night, as we got ready for bed, Michael hesitated for a moment before pulling me into a kiss. It wasn't rushed or awkward, it felt warm and genuine. I smiled against his lips. Look at you, Mr. Confident. He chuckled, his cheeks turning pink. I'm trying. And in that moment, I knew we were moving in the right direction. A few days later, Michael surprised me again. After dinner, he sat me down at the kitchen table and said, Emily, there's something I want to tell you. I tilted my head, curious. What is it? I've been thinking a lot about our conversation the other night, he said, fidgeting slightly, and I realized I don't want to figure this out on my own, so I called someone I trust to talk about it. My eyes widened. You did? Who? He smiled nervously. My older brother Dave. He's always been good at stuff like this, and I figured he might have some advice. I couldn't hide my surprise. Michael rarely opened up to anyone about personal matters, not even his family. That's amazing, Michael. What did he say? Well, he began, his cheeks flushing slightly. He told me that being in a relationship means taking risks, even if it feels scary. He said I should stop overthinking and just focus on showing you how much I love you. Tears filled my eyes as I reached across the table to take his hand. Michael, that's all I've ever wanted. He nodded, his grip on my hand tightening. I'm gonna do better, Emily. I promise. The days that followed felt different, lighter somehow. Michael seemed more at ease, and I could tell he was making an effort. He started leaving little notes for me around the house, like, "Good morning, beautiful," or, "Can't wait to see you tonight." They were small gestures, but they made my heart flutter every time. One Friday evening, he came home with a mischievous grin on his face. "What's that look for?" I asked, narrowing my eyes at him. "Put on something nice," he said, kissing my forehead. "We're going out tonight." I blinked in surprise. "Really? Where are we going?" "You'll see," he said with a wink. An hour later, we were sitting in a cozy Italian restaurant that I'd always wanted to try. Michael had reserved a quiet corner table, complete with a candle and fresh flowers. "This is amazing," I said, beaming at him. "What's the occasion?" He shrugged with a shy smile. "Just wanted to remind you how much you mean to me." As the evening went on, I noticed how relaxed and attentive he was. He asked about my day, held my hand across the table, and even teased me in a way that made me laugh until my cheeks hurt. It was like I was seeing a side of him that had been hidden before. When we got home, Michael surprised me again. Instead of retreating to the couch to unwind, he pulled me into the living room and turned on some soft music. "Dance with me," he said, holding out his hand. I giggled. "Michael, you hate dancing." "I know," he admitted, grinning, "but I'd do anything to see you smile." As we swayed together, I felt a warmth spread through me. For the first time in a long while, I didn't have any doubts. The next morning, as I was making breakfast, Michael walked into the kitchen and wrapped his arms around me from behind. "Emily," he said softly, "I've been thinking about something." "What is it?" I asked, turning to look at him. He hesitated for a moment before speaking. "Do you think I've been a good husband so far?" The question caught me off guard. I set down the spatula and cupped his face in my hands. "Michael, of course you have. Why would you even ask that? I want to make sure I'm giving you everything you need," he said, his eyes filled with genuine concern. "I don't want you to feel like you're missing out on anything." Tears welled up in my eyes, but I smiled through them. "You're everything I've ever wanted, Michael, and the fact that you care so much about making me happy proves how amazing you are." His shoulders relaxed, and he pulled me into a tight hug. "Thank you, Emily. I needed to hear that." As we stood there in the kitchen, wrapped in each other's arms, I realized how far we had come. Michael wasn't just trying. He was growing, and so was our love. One afternoon, as I was folding laundry, I heard Michael's voice calling from the living room. "Emily, can you come here for a second?" Curious, I walked into the room and found him standing by the coffee table, holding something behind his back. "What's going on?" I asked, raising an eyebrow. He grinned nervously and brought his hands forward, revealing a small box wrapped in blue paper. "What's this?" I asked, taking the box. "Open it," he said, his excitement barely contained. I tore off the paper and opened the box to find a delicate silver necklace with a heart-shaped pendant. "Michael, it's beautiful?" I whispered, my fingers tracing the smooth surface of the pendant. "I wanted to give you something special," he said, his voice soft, "to remind you how much I love you." I threw my arms around him, holding him tightly. "You don't have to remind me, Michael. I feel it every single day." A few weeks later, Michael surprised me again. He had planned a weekend getaway to a cozy cabin in the mountains. When we arrived, I was blown away by how perfect everything was. The breathtaking view, the roaring fireplace, and the sense of peace all around us. "This is incredible, Michael," I said, hugging him tightly. "How did you even think of this?" He grinned. "I wanted us to have some time away. Just the two of us. No distractions, no work, just us." That weekend was like a dream. We cooked together, played board games, and spent hours talking about everything and nothing. Michael even suggested a hike, something I never thought he'd enjoy, but he insisted it was for me. As we reached the top of a trail with a stunning view of the valley, he turned to me, his expression serious but full of warmth. "Emily, I've learned so much these past few months. I've realized that love isn't just about feelings, it's about effort, understanding, and showing up for each other every single day." I felt tears welling up as I took his hands in mine. "You've already given me everything I could ever want, Michael. You don't have to prove anything to me." "I know," he said, his voice steady, "but I want to keep growing with you for the rest of our lives." We shared a long, heartfelt hug, and in that moment, I knew we were stronger than ever. Over time, our relationship continued to grow. Michael became more confident in expressing his love, and I learned to appreciate his quiet, thoughtful ways. Together, we built a home filled with laughter, trust, and warmth. One evening, as we sat on the porch watching the sunset, Michael took my hand and said, "Emily, I'm grateful for you every single day. Thank you for being patient with me and for helping me become the man I am today." I smiled, leaning my head on his shoulder. "And thank you for showing me what it means to love unconditionally." Our journey wasn't perfect, but it was ours, a beautiful testament to the power of love, patience, and understanding. One day, while I was cooking in the kitchen, I heard some background noise from the living room. Before I could check, my husband Michael appeared at the kitchen door. "Hello, my love," he said with a sweet smile. Surprised, I turned around. "Oh baby, it's you. You scared me," he apologized and explained. "I couldn't get the thought of you out of my head. I had to come back." I was stunned. Smiling, I turned back to my cooking. "Oh, please, Michael, you can't be serious." Before I could finish, I felt his warm hands on me. Goosebumps covered my body as he started kissing my neck and touching me in ways I had never experienced before. My thoughts raced. Was this the same Michael I knew? I tried to protest lightly. "Can I at least finish cooking first?" Politely, he replied. "No, my love, the cooking can wait. I already have something to eat." Curious, I asked, "And what is that?" He smiled mischievously and said, "You." In that moment, he turned off the cooking gas, lifted me, and placed me on the kitchen counter. What followed was the best experience of my life. Afterward, we moved to the bedroom. When I woke up later, I prepared food for him, eager to know what had caused this sudden change. Over dinner, I asked, "Where did all this come from today?" Michael smiled and began by apologizing to me. He was so sweet as he told me how sorry he was for leaving me hanging for so long and for not putting much effort into being more intimate and expressive with me. He explained that it wasn't intentional and assured me it wasn't because he wasn't attracted to me. He had always been a shy person and lacked any sexual experience, which made him hesitant and unsure of how to handle intimacy. Before marriage, he found it difficult to talk to anyone about it. However, after we got married, he decided to confide in someone he trusted deeply, his elder brother. He explained that when I started sending him sexy photos, he was confused about why I was doing it and whether it was the right thing to do. Not wanting to judge or jump to conclusions, he visited his elder brother to explain everything and get his opinion on the matter. His brother, a sophisticated and well-exposed man, was quite the opposite of Michael. His brother reassured him that it was perfectly normal for a wife to express herself that way and gently pointed out that Michael wasn't doing enough. He guided Michael on how to treat and care for a woman and explained that intimacy is an essential element of marriage that helps sustain it. After their conversation, his brother prayed for him and wished him the best. It took Michael some time to process everything, but he finally gathered the courage to take a bold step, and that step was today. He assured me that he would try to do better. Better, I thought to myself. Today already felt like heaven. As our lives continued, things improved dramatically. Our marriage became much happier and smoother for me, and I couldn't have asked for a better husband. From that day on, our marriage took a beautiful turn. Michael became more expressive and loving, and our intimacy improved immensely. Life couldn't have been better with my wonderful husband. Moral lessons. 1. Love requires effort. True love isn't just about feelings, it's about consistent effort, communication, and a willingness to grow together. 2. Patience pays off. Sometimes understanding and patience are the keys to overcoming challenges in a relationship. Give your partner the space to grow and the time to improve. 3. Vulnerability strengthens bonds. Being open and honest about fears and insecurities can bring a couple closer. Sharing your heart allows love and trust to flourish. Subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell notification for more stories like this, and give this video a thumbs up. Click on this next interesting story.